Good morning. How are you guys doing today? Wonderful. You guys had your coffee? No, some of you maybe. I barely had mine, so I'm waking up too right now. But this is going to be really fun. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica Morales. As I was introduced, I'm here from Relevant Church in Niles. I have social media experience, which qualifies me to talk a little bit about reaching people through our social media. And so my goal is to help you guys understand the benefits and to provide practical steps on how to start utilizing your guys' social media well for your people. Okay, so understanding the importance. So social media has changed the landscape of how we communicate in this day and age, right? Back in the day, we used to know about what was happening in our community, what was happening in different parts of the world, either through billboards or through news stations or through the newspapers, flyers, or even things of knowing what businesses were happening through the yellow pages, right? And yes, I'm young enough, but still a little bit old enough to know what the yellow pages were. And so social media now gives us access to not only share content and information, but also gives us an opportunity to share ministry online in an instance through posting. So as for the church, it is a vital part of building relationships, building community, and helping others understand what the presence of the church and what their experience will be as soon as they walk through the doors based on our social media, right? Yeah. So now hear me when I say, I do not believe that social media is the only way we can carry the gospel. I do not believe that social media will make or break the gospel. Jesus and his disciples took the gospel further, effectively and efficiently through the substance of the gospel, right? Yeah. Social media is now just a tool that we get to add on to spreading the gospel further and faster and instantaneously. So, as the world evolves, as culture evolves, if the church is dedicated to continuously reaching people, we must learn to utilize social media effectively as we do the systems that we have within the church for creating the Sunday morning experience. So expanding reach and impact. Social media gives an opportunity to expand beyond its doors on a Sunday morning. You get to reach people that might never walk through your doors on a Sunday morning. You might get to reach people in different countries that we may not even visit through our social media, right? By a show of hands, how many of you guys have ever been on Facebook or Instagram or any social media platforms and you guys saw a post, you saw a video, and it just made you sit and think of like, wow, that was really good. I needed this reminder, or I needed this scripture, or this video really spoke of me. Have you guys ever experienced that? Right? And so my thought is, if the world does a good job about promoting their own agendas, why is the church not showing up in the same way and providing ministry opportunities through our social media? Amen. The church does a really good job of creating a Sunday morning experience, right? So we're making sure we have the coffee ready, the snacks ready. We're making sure we have people greeting people at the door. We're making sure that the worship sounds amazing. We're making sure that the messages are amazing. But yet we fail to sometimes utilize our social media to do the same thing. So last night, right, I'm new to the area. I recently also too moved out to the Midwest. And so I'm still learning and exploring what's around here, right? So last night when I landed, I went on Yelp and I was like, what are some good restaurants to go eat at, right? So I'm like scrolling, I'm looking up different things, I'm looking at the photos, I'm seeing the reviews, I'm seeing what people are saying about these places. And I ended up at this restaurant, ended up being really good food, and I think to myself, if we go to social media to look at what businesses we want to go to, what places we want to try. Our social media as a church should also reflect what people are going to experience when they walk through our doors, right? Is our social media matching the experience that people will receive on a Sunday morning? All right. And as you're thinking about this, I want you guys to think for a moment. Are people seeing your church? Are people seeing your people on their social media? Is it matching what you guys bring on a Sunday morning experience? And as you're processing and thinking through how we can start to shift and change things with our social media, also start to think, who do you desire to reach? Who is your target audience? Who is missing in your church? Who is not hearing gospel because our social media isn't curating content to reach those people that we really want to reach? There's sons and daughters who have yet to hear God. Are we also aiming our social media to reach them as well, right? And as we think about that, we have to think about the different generations, right? On different platforms, we're going to see different influxes of people. So Facebook and newsletters, email newsletters, do a really good job about reaching Gen X and the boomer generation, right? So we're curating content that is specific to those generations through our Facebook and through our emails. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube are really good at targeting the millennial generation and Gen Z generation. So it's taking the same content, curating differently to reach different people on various platforms, right? So for example, my job on Sunday mornings is to make sure we're capturing good content, good sermon clips, good worship moments to be able to post on our social media, right? Because there's something that I want to show the audience that we're trying to reach about what we're experiencing on a Sunday morning, ministry opportunities. This week we had an amazing testimony that was shared on stage. So what I did was took that, added some music to the background, and posted it. We had so much engagement on that. So now what we're able to do is restructure that for our email newsletters or our Facebook post to look a little differently to target a different audience, right? And so it's all about using the same thing but changing the captions, changing the way we're wording different things on the platforms that we're on. So something that we've also been doing is really leaning into fostering community and connections through our social media. So right now, I have a group of interns who are really like young and creative, and they like to play a lot, right? And I said, you know what? I said, you guys all want to be in the creative space. I said, why don't you guys take over doing one social media post a week? And so I was like, you can make it fun. It's summer, explore. I said, dream. I didn't give them any restrictions. I just said, as long as it has to do with the church and God, and you get to have fun and be creative with it, go ahead and do it. And so this past week, we had a really fun one where they were like, we're going to teach our pastors how to do viral TikTok dances right now. And you're probably thinking, like, why would that be beneficial to the church? Here's the thing. Our target audience is young adult professionals, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha, right? And they're all on social media at this point. And this provides an opportunity for people to see the humanity within our pastors. When I tell you that post was one of the most engaging posts we've had, I mean, people who normally like stop and just like our post were stopping and commenting. People were having conversations in the comments. And so it's not just about doing like a silly dance. It's now people are sharing this. Our Gen Z generation was sharing this on their stories. Now their friends are seeing this. Now their friends are wondering, like, what church do you go to? Now we have some sort of buy-in with them to possibly walk through our doors, right? So things like this matter. See, millennials, we did a good job, and I am at fault for this too, of doing very picture-perfect Instagram post, we have the right filters, we have the right aesthetic, we make everything look really, really nice. Gen Z, on the other hand, is kind of chaotic. They don't care about the perfect angle. They don't care about the perfect filter. They care about like fun, creativity, just different things that curate what their niche is, right? And the older generation is more about like short and quick. They like to see a picture and then read along a message or caption that's on the thing. And so through our social media, we're able to connect with people that we haven't connected with in a long time. I mean, there's people who haven't gone to our church that are commenting, that are sharing, that are liking our post. And so when we start thinking about what we're doing with our social media, I want us to start thinking about the people who aren't there on a Sunday morning. Who are we missing? Who are we looking for? Who are we desiring to see within our church body? Out of curiosity, how many of you guys prior COVID had a strong online presence by a show of hands? Okay, some of us. How many of us had to figure it out like quickly? Yeah. Okay. Online connections, they matter. Right now, the way the world is shifting, the way the world is moving, we don't know what will happen tomorrow, right? This is just another space that the church can exist in and be in. I mean, I think I heard recently that there was a church that did something on the metaverse, and they held a whole service online with the AI and the people, and you're just like, this is crazy. But this is what technology is evolving to. So let's talk about practical steps to start engaging through social media. So first, what are the specific goals that you guys have as a church to use your social media platform for? Is it to promote events? Is it to have ministry opportunities? Is it to reach an audience you haven't reached before? Is it to get more people through your door? What is the goals of your social media platform? Through that, you're going to be able to curate content that is specific for the audience that you're trying to reach. So for example, at our church, we desire to see young adult professionals, right? And so what we've been doing is curating more content that is speaking to that population. So for example, on TikTok, on Instagram Reels, they love to see talking videos, right? Like what are like some hooks that they're gonna just stop and scroll. And one of our most viral videos is one where Pastor Muta is preaching, and he just shares a very vulnerable moment. And we took that and posted it, and I think it has like over 15,000 views on our Instagram. And it's moments like that people are gonna start sharing with their friends. People are gonna start posting it on their own page, that we're gonna be able to reach more people through these videos. They're having moments that they get to pause and reflect in their own lives, thinking through what they just saw on our Instagram post, right? Through that, it allows us some equity in the relationships for when they do come through the doors, because they had a moment of connection with the person that they saw on our screen, right? And in that, then you have to realize, what platforms do we really want to target for our audience? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? How do we begin to adjust our social media to reach that target audience? Because ours are young professionals, they are heavily on Instagram and TikTok. So we need to adjust, right? But we also don't want to miss the older generation. So we're sending out the emails, and we're posting on Facebook, and we're sharing to our Facebook groups that we have on there. So we're taking the same content, communicating it in different ways to post on various platforms. One of the things that we do in order to create more engagement within our social media is we have this engagement core group, which basically is a number of people from within our church who will receive the posts that we send out immediately. And their job is to go like and comment on our posts. And what we've seen is the more that they are commenting, liking, and sharing, the more Instagram is pushing out our content. And so when other people start to see that their friend commented on this, that their friend shared this, then they too start to get involved in the conversation. Now, it is going to take a little bit of time for people to kind of catch on and start doing these things, but the quicker you do it and the quicker you learn your system that is going to best work for you, the quicker you're going to start to see social media work for your benefit. Also, something that we see do really well in helping boost up our social media presence is having things that are engaging, asking questions, adding polls, allowing people to kind of have a voice in the social media when we ask about, like, what do you think about this? Or what was one takeaway? Now people are sharing, now people are commenting and responding back to one another on the social media, right? The biggest thing that we also have to learn is consistency and regularity. Man, I feel like one of the biggest struggles is posting every single day, because you're like, what in the world do I post 30 days out of the month, 365 days a year, right? But the thing is, the gospel itself has so much context that even if you posted a scripture a day, you still have enough left over for the next year. So start thinking about what are things that we can continuously be posting. Start strategizing. We format ours where there's 2 sermon clips a week. There's something that's ministry related for people directly that we're not asking anything of them. There's 1 post a week that's promoting something for an event or some, like we have Serve the City coming up. We have 1 post a week dedicated to that, and then we have a weekend post that is inviting them to the Sunday morning and then the Sunday recap. It's easy. Sometimes I believe we just overthink it and start to get in our own minds of like, how in the world am I going to create all these posts, right? But the substance is already there. The other important part is making sure that we're not just posting to post, but they're actually quality posts on our social media, right? So are we just being lazy with the social media? And let me just throw out a graphic to post on my social media today. No, we don't want to do that. What we want to do is really think through, what's the video looking like? What are we saying? What do we want to create out of this? What do we want to speak to the people? What are we asking of them? Are we being intentional with the way that we are posting on our social media? I think one of the biggest things is, have you ever talked to somebody and you're kind of like, they don't want to be in this conversation with me, or I don't really want to be in this conversation with them? You'll kind of feel that tension, right? People will feel that over lazy social media posts. People will see that they didn't really put that much effort into this post. Authenticity is a big thing for us. And so how can we find the balance of ministry, authenticity, and sharing something that is going to help reach more people? And as you develop these systems, as you start to post consistently, as you're figuring out your ways, and trust me, it's going to take a while to figure out your rhythm. It's not easy, but it will come, and you'll start to see the fruit of that consistent posting and sharing and putting in the work for your social media. the next thing is you have to start analyzing your data. Who's seeing this? How many people are scrolling? I mean, Instagram now gives you insight to how long they were actually watching your video for. I mean, sometimes we'll post minute videos and you're like, the average time was only 8 seconds. Like, how was this, right? So we have to start analyzing and figuring out, like, okay, what's working, what's not working? Are people just staying here? Are they actually watching the full things? Why did this post get a lot more interaction than this one? We notice right now in our own social media that graphics aren't trending as well as our reels and videos are. So how can we adjust to something that we post as a graphic to go as a video, right? Are we posting trending sounds? Are we figuring out what's trending right now and adjusting, a really good ministry clip to this? So for example, we had a very short clip of a worship moment in our church, right? And I can't remember exactly what I put on as a caption. Oh, I do remember now. It said, God can turn your worst moments, and then it pauses, and there's a trending sound behind it. And then it says, into good. Something as simple as that had over like 300, 400 likes. And it's simple. We just tend to overthink it, right? And that's a ministry opportunity. That's a quick reminder for somebody. Somebody's going to be like, you know what? It's been a bad day, but God's still going to make this good. As believers, we have to start strategizing how to better structure our social media to reach people. Because like I said, the world does a good job at it, and the church should be much better than them. Another thing is we do a lot of research on what other churches are doing. We're seeing what we can learn from them. We're seeing what we can take as our own. We're seeing what is trending. We're seeing what is reaching the audience that, is similar to ours, and we're curating our content to be like it, obviously with our own spin. I think it's important for us to build community through that, to start reaching out to other churches, see what they're doing, start talking to their people, because community and relationships will take us way, way, way further than just kind of coveting or seeing what they're doing and not really building relationships in that way. I know I have about an hour, but I wanted to open up this next part to Q&A, questions. What are some stuck points? What are you guys struggling with? What do you find that's hard with social media? Do you not really care for it? And you're like, how do I build a team to better promote social media? So I'm opening the floor now to questions.